in the Free State says that it's opposed to the new Cannabis for private purposes bill. Why? Teboho will tell us more. Teboho, very good morning to you. So why the opposition to this bill?
Good day, Blaine, and the viewers at home. We're coming to you live from Kwakwa in the Eastern Free State, where there's a great number of the Rastafarian community in this part of the land. You'd recall that the draft legislation regarding cannabis, private people's use bill, was passed in August, and subsequent to that in September, it was public opinions regarding ways of trying to make it an act were allowed. However, the Rastafarian community here, they say the current draft bill does not serve any purpose. It doesn't consider their needs, which is why there has been that resistant opposition to that draft bill. But to us to understand in great length the opposition by the Rastafarian community, we've got Rasta Sipirisi in Cheche here, who's going to explain as to what is their opposition regarding the bill. You are the Rastafarian community in this part of the land. You say you've got some issues regarding the bill. Can you elaborate what those issues are?
Hanga kabua ka dintlha tse sa re khotsofatseng ka le setjhaba sa Rasta ka lehlakore lena la Free State e botjhabela ke hore re hlokomela hore mokgwa o bili e entsweng ka teng ene e batla e shebile tshebediso ya matekwane ka motho ka mong mohlomong ha hae sebakeng se ikgethileng ene e batla e sa sheba ka ho otloloha tshebediso ya matekwane ke setjhaba se tshwanang le marasta hobane matekwane ho marasta ke mokubetso ibile ke karolo e kgolo ya marasta ha re tla dithapelong ka mantswe a mang ha bili e re lebelletse hore re se ra sebedisa mokubetso e leng karolo ya bophelo ba rona mo bana ba leng teng hobane ho utlwisiswa hore bana ba batla ba le tlase dilemong ka tsela e jwalo re tlo iphumana rona ga le setjhaba sa Serasta re le ka lehlakore le kotsing la molao mo re ka iphumanang re kwalletswe hobane re tabe re hataketse molao ona wa South Africa o e santsaneng ile bili o ka iphumanang e se ile molao.
In short, what he's explaining here is that they are using cannabis as a sacred herb, and the fact that they are not allowed to use it near the children, that makes it a problem for them because their children are supposed to inherit the religion as it is, and the use of cannabis is central to their belief because it's been used as a sacred herb.
Some of those clauses that we felt that they are really against us as the Rastafari community is the fact that one is expected to plant plus or minus 8 trees, and you'll ask yourself that if we use ganja as a herb and as an incense, how can 8 trees be able to sustain one around the year? And if we can check, we were normally caught having plenty of ganja and we were arrested. Some of us were having back 2 or more. But surprising enough, now we are expected to have something like 600 grams, 800 grams. So it does not make sense at all, because if you are coming with a limit or a measuring scale, I will expect that we can start from 2 bags or so. But to be honest with you, marijuana is a plant, and being a plant and a herb, you should just free it. You cannot have a bill for a plant. Like you don't have a bill for an apple or a tomato or any plant. So just free up the herb and allow every man to utilize a herb. For someone who does not feel that a herb is important or necessary for them, then we accept that. But for the community such as a Rastafari community, then we should be allowed to practice our religion, because even CRL Commission has recommended that we should be allowed to practice our religion. And ganja being an integral part of our religion, we should never be expected that it will be against the law if we utilize it. So free us as the Rastafari community so that we can be part of the community and feel that we can enjoy this freedom that we were so long part of the struggle. Give thanks.
Yes,
I heard your question. It was our handle again as a community about the bill. The first thing, the government of South Africa must not pretend as if it does not know the Rastafari community. It has conducted research and invested a lot of state money into research, and there are documents, reports, official reports, which have been produced, which are not even put on official websites like the CRL Commission website. The bill itself was developed by a panel which did not. The government of South Africa pretends as if it does not know its community, and therefore it passes bills like this. And bills like this continue to criminalize, because the bill is passed apparently as to make up for the constitutional judgment and the defects in the laws, that the constitutional judgment recommended that laws be amended and changed. So, but there are recommendations which have been passed before the Constitutional Court judgment, which speak specifically to a Rastafari community, and those CRL recommendations should have been consulted when drafting this bill, and Rastafari community should have been also consulted when drafting this bill. And therefore, we as the Rastafari community have taken it upon ourselves to draft the entire bill on behalf of the state, because they did not involve us in the process.
There you have it, Blaine and the viewers at home. That is the Rastafarian movement in this part of the land resisted, opposing the current bill as it is, saying that it doesn't really consider their needs, especially spiritual and cultural needs of the Rastafarian community. With that, it's back to you in studio.
Maybe I'll just throw in one more question, and maybe you can ask your guest there with regards to COVID-19 and how has it affected the Rastafari community. Talk to us about, we discouraged for sharing cigarettes, from sharing cannabis. What's your guest's view with regards to the sharing aspect?
If I hear you correctly, one of the questions here one of the questions that is being posed here is that often when you are smoking, you do exchange the Zola among yourself, and there's a concern now regarding the outbreak of coronavirus disease in the country. As you know, that it can be passed from one person to the other. Are you concerned about such aspects?
Yes, we are concerned with such aspects, but knowing very well how herb marijuana is so powerful with its healing effects, it's not like we overlook what is said in terms of the COVID regulations. But when we share the chalice, we share love. It's when we fulfill the eye in eye. So that is something that is part of another spiritual upliftment. So we cannot shy away from such.
Absolutely, you heard it, Blaine, that to them it's all about sharing love, sharing spirituality, so they do not have problem with that at all at the moment.
Yeah, just another thing very quickly. It's actually disingenuous and a pretense on the part of the same government who want to make as if there's a problem when children make use of cannabis, and at the same time the Department of Health declare that cannabis is a medical substance, should be used for medical. And if it's a herb, the Constitutional Court has already declared that cannabis must be declassified. In other words, it must not be categorized as a drug anymore. It's a propaganda which has been perpetuated by those cartels who want to monopolize the plant, that it must be labeled as a drug. But in actual fact, it's a herb, and if it's a herb, it's good for everyone. It's good for infants, it's good for babies, it's good for youths, it's good for elders.
Absolutely, Blaine. From us here in the Eastern Free State, it's back to you in studio.
All right, Teboho Letshana live for us in Kwakwa. Appreciate your reporting there. Interesting insight Teboho is getting for us there with regards to the Rastafarian community in the Free State, saying that it's opposed to the new cannabis for private purposes bill. And this draft bill, according to reporting from Teboho, was published by the Department of Justice and Correctional Services last month. It gives effect to a constitutional court judgment delivered in September 2018. You'll remember the court declared parts of the Drugs and Drug Trafficking Acts and Medicine and Related Substance Control Act unconstitutional and decriminalized the private use of dagga. So Teboho there bringing us the very latest in terms of the opinions of the Rastafarian community there in Kwakwa.